once you have data entered into your spreadsheet, you're going to probably want to be able to adjust the columns and the rows. Adjusting the columns and the rows isn't difficult by any means, but having a nice looking spreadsheet will help improve your efficiency as you're working through the spreadsheet. So in this tutorial, we're going to talk about how you're able to adjust and manipulate the columns and the rows.
One of the things that you may encounter as you're working with your spreadsheets is that you're going to have information that all of a sudden looks like it gets really squashed into your columns or into your rows. Now, what you'll want to do is make your columns or your rows wider or taller. It's not very difficult to do, and there are a couple of quick ways that you can adjust for this. One of your ways that you could adjust, say your columns up here, would be to go between, you'll see we have the A and the B column here. If I go in between them, you'll see the arrows that point either left or right, and as soon as you get those in between, if I left click and hold, I can drag the column over and I can adjust the size of my columns that way. You're more than welcome to do that, and a lot of people do. I kind of find that that's a little on the tedious side. So one other way that you can do it that's much quicker is if you go to this upper left hand corner, you have a little downward pointing triangle. If you click on that, it'll select everything inside of your document. Then if you come over to where you can get the two arrows between the A and the B, and I just kind of go a little more toward the A column with this. If I left double click now, you'll see it adjusted all of the columns, so I don't have to worry about going singly on there. Now you do notice over here this doesn't look quite right. These should be in my K column, and that didn't adjust correctly. So I can grab hold of that and I can adjust it if I want to. If I grab hold of any of these now while it's all selected, do you notice how it just automatically changes everything also? That's kind of a handy little feature that you can use. Now I'm going to deselect, and all I do is just click on any of these cells, and then I can come in, I can adjust individuals. Now your rows work the same way. You can grab hold and you can adjust the size of your rows by dragging, also going between each of the row numbers, and you can adjust that way also. It isn't very difficult to adjust for your columns and your rows. Now, if you ever want to manipulate information in one column or one row, just click on either the column letter, and it selects everything in the column, or click on the number to select everything in a row. This is really handy if you ever want to batch change information. So say I want to have everything here italicized. I just highlight the row, I come up to, in my home tab, I come up to the italics icon, I click on it, and now it'll italicize everything that happens to be in that row. And I can do the same thing inside of a column. See how all that works? Very slick. If I would like to just change some information. Let's say, for instance, we're in here and we want to boldface everything. We can do the same thing. We can boldface it. We can underline everything. Say we want to change the color. We can come in and we can choose our font color, click on it, and we can adjust it that way too. It's very handy, especially if you're doing any coloring at all, because then you can just change things very quickly as you go along. And really, basically, that's how you can adjust your columns and your rows in Excel.